This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. I am joined by John Brummett because it's Monday. John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Your tie looks good there.
Well, did you catch me straightening it?
We catch you right there, straightening it out there. It's good.
That's my introductory move, yeah.
We got a lot to talk about today because a lot has happened, my gosh, since like Friday afternoon. So there's plenty happening. Let's begin with the Senator Tom Cotton piece in the New Yorker. Very high profile, 7 pages. Jeffrey Toobin does a deep dive on Cotton and what makes him tick, what his political future is. This is, as they say, is you have arrived when you get a piece like this.
Right, I think it's a major event in national politics. The point of the article, first of all, the New Yorker is serious business. Even in the era of fake news when everybody wants to label everything as left or right, the New Yorker is a great historic publication which does quality work. Toobin is a lawyer and a CNN analyst and a writer, an author, who is identified as left of center, which actually lends some credence to this article and somehow in Cotton's favor. But the point of the article, so there's all of that, but the point of the article is it anoints Cotton as something I've been thinking that he is, but my thinking it and being national publicity in the New Yorker, those are two different things, and that is that he is the heir apparent to Trump. That after Trump, someone like Cotton, who has similar populist domestic views and nationalist views and immigration views, who also is enough of political establishment to, as Steve Bannon is quoted in the article, there's one guy in town who can give a speech with credibility to the Council of Foreign Policy and then turn around and be friendly to Breitbart. It's Cotton. Molly Ball of The Atlantic was here during the campaign, wrote a piece about Cotton, and she told me he's the leading emerging fusion conservative in Washington. I think it's an arrival point for him. It's kind of a seminal piece of publicity, and it also, to me, lends some layer of informed reasonableness to Cotton's views, which I have fairly easily considered extremism. But it's not extremism in the Trump way. It's a polished Trump way, and it's based on his political experience and his political knowledge, and his policy knowledge, which is considerable. So, big day for Tom Cotton.
The intelligence is definitely there. That comes out in the article, but the warmth, maybe he does not have that ability to empathize like a candidate. Look, Donald Trump's not a big empathizer either, so perhaps it's not necessary like we once thought it was.
You know, I'm thinking that, and I put on the social media that this was a seminal article that applied that layer of informed reasonableness to Cotton, and several said, yeah, but he also says he may not have the charisma for the job or the warmth. I'm trying to decide whether that's still important in the Trump era. It was a major factor in Bill Clinton's emergence. It was a major factor in the era in Arkansas.
I feel your pain.
Well, it was a major era in the Arkansas modernizing and moderating era that started with, after Rockefeller, really, with bumpers. He introduced the idea of personal appeal and personal connection, and prior. And then nationally, it's what helped Obama beat Hillary Clinton. And the lack of warmth or charisma, evident warmth or charisma, is part of what defeated Hillary Clinton. So it's still there in some way, and I think Cotton still has to wrestle with the fact that he doesn't exude warmth or
he said
connection.
before that he's warm, damn it. Remember in that article where he's quoted as that.
Yeah.
My favorite was the Trey Gowdy quote about when he's mouthing off something in intellectual circles, and he says, "Hey, the chess club meets around the corner."
Yeah, Gowdy is good. This guy comes up to him on the House floor and just starts talking about some esoteric of some bill, and he said, he thought he thought the nerds had invaded. He didn't know who he was because he had just come to town as the Arkansas 4th District Congressman. But it's and also, did you notice, not to beat this article to death, but just a casual mention to Cotton saying, well, when I was having dinner the other night with General Kelly and President Trump,
right.
Trump was telling me that Schumer and Pelosi misrepresented their dinner the night before. Apparently that's a very close relationship. And Bannon's affection for Cotton, which is part of this fusion or bridge conservative, that he can appeal to this right-wing populist nationalist element and then be a serious policy player on the establishment. And Bannon said there's nobody else who can do it. And I don't see anyone offhand.
Yeah, we'll watch this article. I got a feeling this week we were going to see this article get some accelerant put on it there, and I think it'll make even further rounds.
Well, I think it'll be talked about. It'll be buzz, as we say.
So let's flip to another gear here and stay in Trump world here, but we have got more, apparently over the weekend, revelations of business proximity to Russian ties with Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, Jared Kushner. Apparently Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, has failed to disclose some other meetings that we are now finding out from the special counsel. Is this thing still, there's smoke but no fire, or do you think that we're starting to see more elements of a fire now?
I think we're seeing more smoke, which doesn't mean that there's not fire there. It's just not, I don't see the elements of it yet. What this is going to come down to is if the Trump campaign, the candidate himself and people close to him took action to solicit conspiratorial help from the Russian government or agents thereof to influence our election. That would be, I think, you could call that a crime. All of that is, and that's yet to be seen, and I'm just, at this point, I'm waiting for Mueller to do the police and prosecutor work, and let's find out about that. This is another slow drip that, Trump really not draining the swamp. This Commerce Secretary's got offshore accounts, Cayman Island accounts, offshore investments, that he reported that he had those, but among them is part ownership in a group which owns part of a Russian shipping company tied to Russian oligarchs, and which gets a lot of its money by transporting for an energy company that Putin's son-in-law is a major owner of. All of that's interesting. All of that adds to this billowing smoke, Trump, Russians, business, what's going on here, but it still doesn't get down to where's that spark, where is it? Because that's what it's going to come down to. And I'm almost to the point of becoming a little bit jaded to the revelations. I know that Trump didn't drain the swamp. I know that he's frolicking in the swamp. And I know that he's tied to rich people who have investments globally, and I know there are potential conflicts of interest. What I don't know yet is whether there's there in a campaign conspiracy with Russians, and that's what we got to see. The rest of it at this point is smoke in your eye.
All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk some more politics with John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. I'm Roby Brock. We're back after this.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Welcome back to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm with John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. All right, let's turn our attention to a very serious subject. We had another mass shooting over the weekend, 26 dead, I think, at this church shooting near San Antonio, Texas. We see the same cultural arguments still kicking around from those that want gun control, those opposed to gun control. I would argue and submit that nothing changes in the gun debate despite this latest mass shooting.
Right.
You agree?
Totally. I mean, it just lends itself to the easy rhetoric of both sides, and these positions are so practiced that it's hard to imagine an incident that would break through the standard script. The president says, well, this isn't about guns. This is about a mentally ill guy and a deranged guy. And you know, some other people there in the area there in Texas, they had some guns and they had something to do with subduing this guy. So that shows that we need the guns. So that position is supported. The guy's obviously off his rocker in some form, and he's got military-style weapons, and he's got a history of what?
Domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Apparently, this church was the place where his in-laws, former in-laws, attended.
So you could make a strong argument that he should have been on some registry that would have prevented his getting the gun, and if not, those registries and restrictions should be fuller and greater. But yet, the pro-gun people say, even if so, he would still get the gun somehow. And it's the same old, sadly. And I don't know what kind of event. These are incredible horrors and tragedies on our culture, but they are so proliferated and becoming so dreadfully common that the debate is getting a little tired about that too, just as the whole Trump-Russia thing is getting a little tired. We don't have a solution to it. And your question, nothing changes. In the policy, nothing changes. In the political rhetoric, nothing changes.
Let's talk about our next subject and see if anything changes here. Let's talk tax reform, tax cuts. The GOP rolls out their tax cut plan last week. It has already undergone some changes. Apparently more amendments are on the way. Do you think that they finally get something done in Congress this year? Is tax reform, tax cuts, something they have to deliver on?
You know, in the Trump world, it's just difficult to say. Politics.
You need a crystal ball right here on the table, don't you, that you can, Swami says.
Politically, logically, it stands to reason that after their colossal failure on health care, and since cutting taxes is centered to what Republicans are about, that they must do something. But they don't have it with this bill. This bill engenders opposition from conservatives because it explodes the deficit. Mm-hmm. It's got the real estate industry up in arms. It's got medical industry concerned. It's got Republicans representing high local tax states concerned. I don't see how they have the votes to pass it. And I heard the other night, I guess it was David Brooks maybe on PBS, said they got to do something. So in the end, maybe the only thing they do is cut the corporate rate from 35 to 20. That by December, that they will have abandoned.
And call it a victory.
Call it a great victory, because that's the key: is cutting the taxes for those who employ our people, so that they will employ more and generate economic activity, and they might be able to find some way to seem to cover the loss of that. I don't know what it is at this point, to make it supposedly revenue neutral. I would almost predict that that's what, as he predicted, I will embrace his prediction. That's what they might end up doing.
Just like the Arkansas Razorback football team, they're in a must-win situation, even if it's a one-point victory over one of the worst teams in college football. I see some analogies working here for a column for you.
Yeah.
Coastal Carolina GOP tax plan.
Well,
needing a victory.
That's a bit of a reach.
You work on that one,
that's
okay?
That's a bit of a reach. They do need a victory.
I'm just giving you the foundation.
Well, we'll work on it.
You work on it.
We'll work on it.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, John Brummett. Always good to be with you.
You betcha.
And this Thursday night, we're going to have some fun. We're doing a 20-year tribute to you and LifeQuest, the class that you have taught for 2 decades. I'm impressed.
Well, that I've done anything for 2 decades?
I am impressed that you've done anything for 2 decades.
Want to give me a tribute.
I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to be a part of the program.
You were my choice to be MC. You are the official MC of Arkansas, Roby.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Is that what you want to be?
I'll work on that, just like you work on your column. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's all for today's program. We'll see you next time.